For an in-depth look at the Colorado River, I want to bring in Alejandra Borunda, a National Geographic environment writer whose latest work features the shrinking river basin and its far-reaching impact. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
And so for those who don't know, the Colorado River stretches over 1,400 miles. It provides water to more than 40 million people while irrigating more than 5 million acres of agriculture. You describe what's taking place there on the Colorado River Basin as a climate reckoning. Describe that.
Yeah, there's this really incredible ongoing drought across the West and the Southwest that has actually been going on in waxing and waning for over 20 years now. And it's truly historic. Scientists have found out that it's the worst 22-year stretch of drought in at least the last 1,200 years, made about 40% worse by climate change. And that drought, it can't help but have just enormous effects on the people and ecosystems across the region, especially, like you were saying, the 40 million people who use its water and everyone who eats the food that comes from the region that's irrigated by Colorado River water. And so things have gotten so dire in the last couple years, and right now in particular, that the 7 states in Mexico that rely on the Colorado River water are trying really hard to figure out a plan for how to use a lot less of it in the future.
Well, and it's a scary thought. So in your opinion, and in the work that you've done, what is the worst case scenario for the Colorado River?
I mean, I think we're basically in it. This was a position that no one wanted to get to, where Lakes Mead and Powell, the 2 main reservoirs on the river, are at historically low levels. They're about 25-ish% full right now, which is down from, nearly full about a decade ago. So earlier this year, the Bureau of Reclamation, the federal government, asked the 7 states along the river to cut about 2 to 4 million acre feet, which is about a third as much water is currently goes down the river every year, from their budgets. So that's a really big ask. That is unprecedented. That's asking for states to do way more than they ever even kind of thought they would have to in the past. But that's just how bad the drought has gotten.
Right. This goes beyond agriculture. This goes to looking at our municipal water use as well. In your opinion, what is the best case scenario?
I mean, right now, those 7 states and the federal government and a lot of other people who are interested in this part of the world are working really hard to figure out a way to make an equitable deal, to make a deal that feels fair for everyone, but that will help stabilize the water and stabilize the river so that we can continue to have water running through the taps and to have agriculture survive and thrive in this part of the world. And so I think everyone's just really hoping right now that there's a deal that can be made. And it's going to require, kind of like you were saying, really big sacrifices across the board.
Right, and for a little glimpse of hope, I want to share this with you. I met with some ranchers at the headwaters of the Colorado River, and they are making very dramatic efforts to keep this river healthy and to keep it flowing. So take a look. As part of one of the largest restoration efforts on the upper basin, you have installed 5 of these riffles right there along a 12-mile stretch?
That is correct. Raising the water table, focusing on the health of the Colorado River, and allowing irrigation for productive, profitable agriculture. It is this region's adaptation to climate change.
So when you hear something like that and you see them at the headwaters, that's just one thing that's happening. So this is going to be a piecemeal solution effort where individual farmers, city dwellers, tribal nations have to come together to ensure the future of this river. Do you see that happening?
I hope so. I've talked to a lot of folks who no one wants this to fail, right? Like everyone wants this successful negotiation and to figure out a way to make this better. Because if it doesn't work, it's just, it's a disaster for everyone. So I've heard a lot of encouraging things from people in the know, but I know that there's a lot that's going to be really painful for people to deal with in any negotiated outcome. It's just, this is a really tough problem to deal with. And it's going to take people like that, like everyone coming up with small solutions, as well as people really coming at this from the big end, the state government's kind of making some concessions.
Right, exactly. We all have to do our own part. Alejandra Borunda, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for your work.
Yeah, thank you. It was really good to talk.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.